All right. Almost forgot to record for all of you that will watch the recording. I remembered. So I'm glad that you're here, either live or watching the recording. I know there's so many things to be plugged into right now. May is one of the busiest months of the year. And so I don't take it lightly that you're joining me. And I hope that these next 30 minutes encourage you to use your oils in a new way and really get you excited. I haven't had to do a lot of research per se for a class in a long time. And that's part of what got me interested in this impact oils series, is because I knew it would require me to learn something new to teach it to you. And I like that. I like challenging myself in that way. And so a couple of these oils that I'm talking about tonight, I'm really, really familiar with. And others are a little bit newer to us, or just ones that I don't grab for super often. And so I loved learning a little bit more through some research and books. And so I'm going to show you all of the resources that I use to put together tonight's class. And then that way you can have access to them if you want to. And then I'll go through the 10 oils. I've got a little bit of review. So first, let's maybe do that. I'm going to show you kind of where we were at. So if you didn't join us last week, or maybe hopefully you caught the recording, it was recorded and you can still go back and watch. But last week was really focused on the heart of doTERRA, like our heartbeat, what gets us so excited to share doTERRA with others as a business and to use these oils ourselves, realizing that there's not only an impact for us as we use them to facilitate health and healing in our bodies, but there's this massive impact on the other side of the bottle and throughout the globe, really, for all of the farmers and people that are impacted by the jobs that are created through sourcing these oils around the world. And so just as a little bit of a review of what we talked about, we did a 30-minute call last week. So there's so much more than what I'm going to review tonight. So please go watch that recording if you haven't already. But we know that doTERRA partners with farmers and artisans all over the world. It's about 45 countries. And we have over 170 oils that we source from these areas. So really exciting. But doTERRA has actually committed to increasing that impact that they're making through working with these nations by 3 times in the next few years. So they have said by 2030, we want to increase our impact 3 times threefold. And so that would be like 9 to 10 million lives that would be affected through new jobs, through healing hands, foundation projects, so many different ways. But 2 things they shared with us at our leadership meeting in March is that they're going to do this by, number one, increasing inventory within doTERRA. I showed you some of those numbers last week. Really, really cool. Oh, thanks, Michelle. She just threw the recording up in the chat for you. So increasing inventory, which we've already done massively, and then focusing on specific oils that we know have the greatest economic impact when we source them from these parts of the world. So we went through those stories last week regarding 10 oils. So a lot of times when you're first starting out, you hear us talk about the top 10 oils. And that's typically the one most used in our homes, like the lemon, lavenders, peppermints, on guards, breathes, all of those. These top 10 are the top 10, not necessarily that have the most physical impact to your body, although I'm going to argue that a little bit after I just went through my notes this week. They are such powerful oils, but these top 10 are ones that impact the world. So just that's a little bit of our recap. So we're going to jump in today. But before I do that, I'll do what I promised I was going to do, is show you the resources that I used to put together this class. And if you don't have them, I think these should all be a part of your collection at some point. But the most important for you would be the Essential Life book. This is the newest edition. So this is just they're getting bigger and bigger. This is actually really heavy textbook, the Oil Bible from doTERRA. This is the 7th edition. If you don't have one, will you please reach out to somebody that is enrolled, you or myself, and tell us you want one so that we can buy some when they come back in stock. We're going to buy a bulk order and we'll get them for $20 to $25. So worth it. The other book I'm going to talk a lot about tonight is Symphony of the Cells. So a lot of you might be familiar with this. If this is new to you, then I'm going to give you a 1-minute synopsis. Basically, Boyd Truman, the founder of Symphony of the Cells, has been an essential oil researcher and studier user for 30 plus years. He's really gone into the constituents and the properties of the oils and how they interact with body systems. So he's put together specific protocols based on those body systems where you're applying the oils to your spine and your feet in a systematic way, one right after the other, and getting really remarkable results. So I'm going to talk about these oils tonight, and I'm going to tell you what protocols they're a part of, because I was actually shocked to remind myself how often these top 10 are used in our most commonly used Symphony of the Cell protocols. So Symphony of the Cells is what it's called. It's just this tiny little book. They're between $10 and $15. We typically order those in bulk too. So if you need one, then you have to let us know. But you can see, just like I was showing you, there's just a list of oils, between 9 and 11 oils on each protocol, and you're applying them one on top of the other for really specific results. Maybe you've got a chronic condition you're trying to attack. Maybe something really acute has come up, like influenza or bronchitis or something like that, and you want a really systematic, tried and true, proven approach to getting on top of that. A lot of you have stories that you could tell me about Symphony of the Cells, and I hope you do that in the comments tonight. But that book I spent a lot of time in this week. And then there's this book called Oil Smart, and it's made by Symphony of the Cells. And I love it because it has all of the ailments listed alphabetically, but it actually recommends a specific Symphony of the Cell protocol for what you might be dealing with. So if you've got mental fatigue, it'll tell you these are the oils that you should be diffusing and inhaling, but then make sure you do the Symphony of Cells Emobic protocol or forgiveness protocol or purpose or solar 1 to 2 times a week. So it's just a very cool laid out protocol book. I don't know that I have any extras of these right now, but you can order them on truewellness.com, TRU wellness. Okay. And then the last book that I use, that I feel bad even showing you because you can't buy it, but I have 2 diffuser blends for every oil tonight. And they all came out, or most of them came out of this book called Aroma. And I want you guys to all storm the doors of doTERRA and tell them to bring back this book, because it's so amazing. It is literally just full of diffuser blends for all different kinds of moods or holidays or rooms in your house or months of the year. It's just so, so cool. So if you ever follow me on Instagram and you see me post diffuser blends, it's probably out of this book, but I'm going to give you a ton of them tonight. So get your pens ready. So let's talk tea tree. This is probably the oil that y'all are most familiar with. Last week, we talked about this beautiful woman and these gorgeous tall tea trees that they're growing in Kenya now. But we've also been growing in Australia. And so when you think of tea tree, you're probably thinking of the immune system, right? That's what we teach you. This is one of the top 10 oils. This is a most used oil in my house. As I was sitting down to list all the ways that we use this, I was surprised to remember the top thing that we've been using it for lately is athlete's foot, actually. Like the peeling of skin on the bottom of the feet. My kids have the weirdest feet ever. And I've never dealt with anything like this until I had kids, but we have tea tree in a roller ball, also with some other oils like arbor vitae and cinnamon to deal with it. And it's gone away completely. And then we got off track, stopped using it for a while, and it came back throughout the winter time. And then now we've gotten rid of it again. So tea tree is amazing for that. Specifically acne, we do a lot of just, flipping of the bottle and touching the areas that we've got breakouts. We also use tea tree and Epsom salt all the time. It's the #1 oil. If anyone's sick, fevering, acting weird, they go in a hot bath with Epsom salt, baking soda, and tea tree. A lot of times we add other oils, but tea tree is always in there. And then my diffuser blend for you is also another one of the main ways we use tea tree is diffusing it, because it helps stop the snot. That's what we call it. So if you have kids or yourselves that are constantly running, this is a perfect allergy season oil. So tea tree, lemon, and lemongrass is that. So it's 2 to 3 drops of each: tea tree, lemon, and lemongrass that stop the snot. I've also had so many customers use tea tree for ear infections, preventing and even recovery, and then healthy toenails, fingernails. Also lice. I've worked with so many customers to get rid of lice. We do that with tea tree, lots of tea tree in the scalp with shampoo, letting it sit for a few hours with like a shower cap and rinsing out. But you can just put a few drops in your shampoo if that's something that happens a lot in your world. And then mastitis is something we've used tea tree for. So if you have pregnant or nursing mamas, they need to know tea tree is their friend, because they're going to use it with their kids all the time, but they're going to use it for themselves. So when I was going through the Symphony of Cell protocols, I wanted to know which ones have tea tree in it. There's actually 5 of them that use tea tree. The first is the basic protocol that we use on our children at any signs of discomfort, teething, diarrhea, fever, irritability, anything. And so that's frankincense, tea tree. Anyway, you'll get the book, but there's 4 oils. Tea tree is one of them. It's in the infectious disease protocol. So that reminds us how important it is for the immune system. It's in the lymphatic protocol, which makes sense, right? That stop the snot recipe, all the drainage. It's in the inflammatory protocol, and it's also in the respiratory protocol. So that helps us remember those categories for tea tree. You've got immune system, you've got drainage and lymphatic, you've got inflammation, and you've got the respiratory system. So I already shared my first diffuser blend for you. Amber typed it out for you. Stop the snot, 2 to 3 drops of lemon, tea tree, lemongrass. I can't wait for you to try that when you have runny noses in your house, because you're going to message me and be like, how did that happen? Because I put my babies down for naps with all the drainage and they wake up clear. It's amazing. But another one that I want you to try is called air freshener. And this has 2 drops of purify, 2 drops of lemon, 2 drops of grapefruit, and then 1 drop of tea tree. So that's going to smell really citrusy, but also really clean. That tea tree gives it that really clean, like sanitized type smell. So, all right, that is tea tree. What do you think? Does that make you want to go use some tea tree? I love that oil. Lemongrass is also another oil that we use so much in our house. So let's start here. Lemongrass, when you think of lemongrass, I want you to think of 2 L's, lymphatic and ligament. Those are the biggest ways that you use lemongrass. And it's such an inexpensive oil. If there is one, as I was making my notes, I thought, I'm going to tell them if there is one oil that you need to put on your list immediately out of these 10, it's lemongrass, because it doesn't cost you hardly anything. And it's so powerful. It's in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of the Symphony of Cells protocols. That means that Boyd thinks that oil interacts with at least 8 to 10 body systems in a positive, powerful way. Think about all the oils that he could choose out of 170 for these protocols, and he chose lemongrass 8 times. So that puts if it's good enough for Boyd, it's good enough for me. So lymphatic and ligament is what I want you to think of. So any kind of injury, if you're using Copaiba and deep blue and frankincense, those are all amazing, but I'd make sure that if it's ligament specific, like a herniated disc or tendonitis or something like that, that you are 100% using lemongrass. That has to be included. When we use the deep blue rub, we almost always put a drop of lemongrass in there as well. When my husband sprained his ankle, we were using a ton of lemongrass. It can be taken internally as well, but using it topically is actually really, really powerful. The other way that we've used lemongrass a ton is for UTIs. Now, not personally, but a ton with my customers. So urinary tract infections, lemongrass is amazing for the lymphatic system, right? Which is going to interact with our urinary tract system. And so we use that oil topically over the abdomen when you've got any kind of pain with those types of symptoms. So here's all of the Symphony of Cell protocols for lemongrass. Cardiovascular, it's actually really powerful for the heart and the cardiovascular system. The Chi protocol, which is a pain protocol specifically for like headaches and migraines, tension, lemongrass is in there. I had some post-COVID migraine issues for about 4 or 5 days. And I did actually have to resort to some medication, some really small amounts of over the counter. But after I started doing the Chi protocol, everything changed. Like I could tell we were making progress. And so I only had to take those for 3 days, which was awesome. Infectious disease protocol. So we know it impacts the immune system. Inflammatory, lymphatic. Maxim is a cancer protocol, lots of other symptoms too, but it's kind of considered the cancer protocol. Neurological protocol, and then the osteo, so bone health. Yeah, It's an amazing oil. Okay, so you already have lemongrass from my other recipes, but I actually have 2 diffuser blends that in addition, that I want you to try. One of them is called Date Night. So if you have a significant other in your life, this is the first diffuser blend I'd try with him or yourself to just change the mood in your home. 2 drops of ylang ylang, of course, 1 drop of black pepper, 1 drop of ginger, and 1 drop of lemongrass. That's called Date Night. And then another one that would be amazing for allergy season and just to like create some energy in your brain and open your airways would be lemongrass, 4 drops of lemongrass, 3 drops of wild orange, and 2 drops of peppermint. So that is lemongrass. Is anybody keeping up? That looks awesome. Thanks, Michelle. Yeah, so carpal tunnel is actually listed for lemongrass as well. So that makes sense, Michelle, why you're getting relief on your wrists, which makes sense. Ligaments, right? Joints. Okay, let's move on. I got to get done here. I got to keep moving. Ginger. I love ginger so much. We use this oil internally more than anything. It tastes amazing. If you like the flavor of ginger, you have to be drinking ginger. It's delicious. We use it in all of our smoothies. If you are making a fruit smoothie in the morning, it is the best way to liven up your smoothie and have it taste way more fresh, especially if you're using frozen fruit. It just doesn't taste the same, right? As like a super fresh fruit smoothie. So make sure that you're adding it to your smoothies. Just 1 drop goes a long way, but we've bumped up to 2 drops because we love it so much. We also use ginger in stir fries, and anytime it calls for ginger powder or ginger like of the actual root, please try ginger essential oil. It's so worth it. 1 to 2 drops is all you would need to replace the ginger in a recipe. And then in our detox tea that I have listed at the bottom, I hope you know about the detox tea. Amazing. I'm sure it's on our Facebook groups. I've shared it on my Instagram before, but we just do a tablespoon of honey in some super warm as you can handle it, hot water. And then we add a drop of cinnamon, a drop of lemon, and a drop of ginger. You can actually do 2 drops of lemon and 2 drops of ginger if you want. That's how I do it, but 1 of each would be good too. And then we add a tablespoon or 2, depending on how strong you want it, of apple cider vinegar. So you've got the warm water, the honey, the apple cider vinegar, and then your cinnamon, ginger, lemon essential oils. But here's a little tip. If you are too lazy or need to get moving faster than that takes, then all you do is you get some hot water and you put a ginger drop, the little throat lozenges from doTERRA, and put it in your hot water and it'll dissolve. And there you have ginger tea and it's delicious. It's so, so good. Ginger is probably the #1 way that we use to get rid of sore throats in our house. So nausea, indigestion, vomiting, all of the sore throats, immune system stuff, ginger is our go-to, and it's almost always internally. Now, you can use ginger for hormone balance. If you didn't know, it's actually in the hormonal protocol from Symphony of Cells. It's actually most well known for a low sex drive. So I know that affects a lot of women and sometimes men occasionally. And so that is something that I'd be using topically. You can wear ginger like perfume. It smells amazing. You could do any of these recipes that I'm giving you here in the diffuser blend, and you could make them into a roller ball and use them over your heart, over your liver, over your spine, bottoms of the feet, behind the ears. Pulse points are a really great place to interact with hormones, but poor circulation, ginger is amazing for. And then what I wrote down, I didn't do the emotional benefits of most of these oils, but ginger I know specifically because it's great oil for apathetic feelings, like apathy, like just feeling like, that's how I describe it. I feel like that probably more than I want to admit, just this apathy. And so I love bright smelling oils like ginger that help you move from apathy to activated. Okay, here's my 2 recipes for ginger. The first is called Morning Latte. I know you guys are going to want to try this one. It's 3 drops of cardamom, 2 drops of clove, 2 drops of cassia, or cassia is how you can pronounce it, and then 1 drop of ginger. Doesn't that sound so awesome? Please try that. you could drink that as well. It'd be very, very potent, but you could make a huge batch of something and use that in there, or like put those together and just do 1 drop of that combo in a drink in the morning if you want to drink it. But that's the diffuser recipe. And then the other one is 2 drops of wild orange, 1 drop of lime, 1 drop of ginger, and 2 drops of ylang ylang. That would also be a really good one if you're going on a date night or just want your house to smell like lovey. I don't have a name for that one, so you guys can figure that one out. But wild orange, 2 drops of wild orange, 1 drop of lime, 1 drop of ginger, and 2 drops of ylang ylang. So I already mentioned that ginger is in the hormone symphony of the cell. It's also in the lymphatic. I think that's why it's so important for like sore throats and drainage, but it's also in the solar protocol, which we recommend most often for adrenal fatigue, energy type issues. So that's a really cool oil, don't you think? Did you learn anything about ginger? Is anyone brand new to ginger? Never used ginger? I love it. All right, geranium. We talked about geranium last week, that it was a little bit of a surprise for a lot of people when they open the bottle. They think it's going to smell like this, like bright, amazing smelling flower, and it's a little bit different, but I think it's because we steam distill the whole part of the plant. It's not just the petals, it's the stems and the leaves and all of that. So it's the geranium plant, but geranium is incredibly powerful for the body. And so it's an aroma you want your brain to get used to. And I promise it will. And eventually, if you don't love it immediately, you will. That's how we have gotten. Some people love it right out of the first whiff of it. So I don't mean to scare you away because it's different for everybody, but geranium is powerful for the liver. So if you have any kind of liver congestions or liver problems, you need to get familiar with geranium. It's in the Zendicrine detoxification blend, which makes sense, right? For hormone support and detox and adrenals and liver, all of those play a role. But you can be using ginger or geranium so many different ways. Topically is how I typically recommend it, right over the liver, diluted, especially if you're waking up in the middle of the night, like every single night between 2 and 4 a.m., something like that, you are likely liver congested, overwhelmed, and your body's trying to wake you up. So it creates more energy to dump the toxins. And so you need to be using geranium over your liver at night before you go to bed. So that's some hormone recovery as well. I mean, all of that plays a role. Your adrenals are all like fed by your hormones. So and then skin. We actually use this oil most often in our home for our skin. We like it in all things skin spray. We use it for homemade facial cleaning cloths or diaper bum wipes, like all types of things like that. It's just a really sensitive skin oil. It's just so gentle on the skin. So that's everything, I think. I want you to consider geranium if you're postpartum. Again, I know this doesn't apply to everyone, but hopefully you know someone that you can help with this information. If they have engorged breasts while they're breastfeeding, or swelling, or like any kind of lactation issues, geranium would be the best one for them. It's just amazing for postpartum recovering, specifically breastfeeding. You can also be using it on your abdomen for recovery from postpartum and throughout menopause too. And then the last little fun tidbit of this is that geraniol is the constituent of geranium, and it's actually the same constituent as citronella has. Citronella's top constituent is geraniol. And so that's why people use geranium for ticks and flea prevention. Cool, right? So it's a #1 oil that you should have on yourself or your animals, like your dog specifically, if you're outside and you worry about ticks or fleas, making sure you're using that topically on them. Super powerful. So the geranium essential oil is in 4 protocols: the digestive protocol. So obviously powerful for the digestive system. It's in the forgiveness protocol. We hold a lot of our anger and guilt and all of the things in our liver. And so our liver has to process all of those hormones that are created through those emotions that we experience. And so the forgiveness protocol is amazing, you guys. Really, really amazing. I know some of you have had customers that have had amazing results with the forgiveness protocol, but that's with geranium. The other one is the Maxim protocol. If you remember, I talked about cancer, but also liver problems is the Maxim protocol, and then the solar adrenal fatigue type stuff. Okay, here's 2 diffuser blends that you have to try if you're not a geranium fan or if you've never tried geranium in the diffuser. The first one is called Lighten Up. If you just need to like calm the heck down a little bit, like a little carefree feeling in your home, it would be 2 drops of tangerine, 1 drop of geranium, and 3 drops of ginger. Doesn't that sound so cool? So that's Lighten Up. And then there's one more that's 2 drops of lavender, 2 drops of wild orange. Got to look at my fingers here. 1 drop of clary sage and 1 drop of geranium. That's going to be a really amazing hormone support diffuser blend. Lavender, 2 drops, 2 drops wild orange, 1 drop clary sage, 1 drop geranium. It's going to smell very floral with a tiny little bit of citrus. So that will be awesome. All right, we got to keep moving on. I have no idea what time it is. Am I even remotely on track? Barely. Cardamom. I keep saying this is like the most used oil in our home, but if you have children and you're not using cardamom, you're crazy. Cardamom is my kid oil. It just solves all the kid problems. And that doesn't mean you can't use it if you're an adult. But cardamom is my #1 kid oil because sometimes little kiddos, especially infants, can be sensitive to oils like Breathe or Digestin or Airx, things like that, because they just have spicier oils in them. Not dangerous. It's just spicy. It's just not amazing for really sensitive skin, thin skin. Ooh. Cardamom is in those blends. And so you get the benefits of those blends without using the spicier oil. So we use cardamom for everything I've listed here: coughing, constipation, congestion. We use it. It can be used for sore throat. It can be used for slow metabolism and loss of appetite. I'm kind of surprised how many people talk to me about and ask about loss of appetite for children that aren't eating well, or even adults that have lost their appetite. Sometimes it could be a little bit post-COVID season. I'm not sure. But anyway, this is the oil that I'd be using topically over your abdomen. You can use it internally too. It tastes great. If you make elderberry tea, elderberry syrup, this is an oil that you can use in there as well. So cardamom, where's my notes for that so I can stay on track here? Did I already toss it? No idea. Oh, cardamom. So this is my baby oil. Vomiting. So if my kids are throwing up, if they have a stomach ache, if they're constipated, if they're congested, if they're coughing, we use cardamom and ginger typically together. And specifically for bronchitis, I have written down is where we've used this. It's a digestive stimulant. It's anti-inflammatory. And like I said, it's in Breathe, Digestin, and Airx. So all those benefits from those blends you get in cardamom. So here's my 2 diffuser blends for cardamom. The first is called Rise and Shine. That's a song we sing in the morning. Rise and shine. Do you sing that song with your kids? And give God the glory, glory. No? Okay. 5 drops of cardamom. That's pretty heavy. So you have to decide if you love cardamom. You could maybe do 3 or 4. This recipe calls for 5 drops cardamom, 3 drops wild orange, 1 drop peppermint. Cardamom, wild orange, peppermint. 5, 3, 1. That's Rise and Shine. I am going to diffuse that tomorrow while we sing that song. That is going to be so fun. And then if you've never heard of David Sterling, he's the founder and former CEO of doTERRA. He's recently stepped away on a sabbatical, but his favorite diffuser blend has cardamom in it, if you did not know. And so his favorite diffuser blend is grapefruit, 2 drops of grapefruit, 2 drops of Breathe, and 1 drop of cardamom. I'm like, if the founder and CEO thinks this is the best diffuser recipe, it probably is pretty decent. So that's one I'm going to be trying really, really soon. All right, that's cardamom. Did you learn anything? I hope so. Lemon eucalyptus is what I have the least amount of info on because it's the newest oil to us. It's only been around for about 1.5 years, but not the plant has been around for ages, right? It's been around for doTERRA for about 1.5 years. But when you think lemon eucalyptus, I want you to think mosquitoes. This is how we keep the mosquitoes and all of the insects at bay during the summer. So this is going to be really important for you. So lemon eucalyptus, when I smell it, it smells like bug spray to me, like in a good way, not like the icky bug spray. It's created this pathway in my brain because it's what we use for bug spray. And when doTERRA brought this out, they had mentioned some research that this is the most studied essential oil for mosquitoes because in parts of Africa, well, obviously we source this out of Kenya. They've actually studied the mosquitoes that carry malaria and what can keep them away. And it's lemon eucalyptus. So mosquitoes and ticks, this is what you want to be using. You can use it directly on the skin. You can be diffusing it. You can make a spray out of it. It is very citronella-y. It actually, they carry some of the same constituents. So we use citronella and lemon eucalyptus together typically for mosquitoes and ticks because they're both good. We like to add in TerraShield, the actual repellent blend. When I make a bug spray, I do citronella and lemon eucalyptus and TerraShield because why not? They're all actually very inexpensive oils, and doTERRA's actually given us these oils free over the last couple of months. So I hope that you've been getting them. They are not just like randomly picking oils for your free products. They know what we need. They know what to prepare us for. So that's why we got lemon eucalyptus free a couple of months ago. But know that lemon eucalyptus is powerful for airborne pathogens and viruses. It's a really, really powerful oil. So if you can get over the potent smell of it, then I would be using it in your home a lot. What I think you should do with your lemon eucalyptus is get a travel diffuser like the Pilot or the Bubble or something like that, and then have that with you this summer so that you can be diffusing while you're outside at the picnic table and while you're outside camping and when you're outside at the baseball games and all of those places. You can have lemon eucalyptus in your travel diffuser and bring it with you. So if you want to try lemon eucalyptus and TerraShield together, I would do like 3 lemon eucalyptus, 2 TerraShield. I call that bye-bye bugs because why not? Or you could try lemon eucalyptus and abode if you want to like freshen the air in your kitchen after you're done cleaning it, or you've got like stinky onion, garlic smell, and you want that all gone. It's an incredible odor eater. So 2 drops lemon eucalyptus and 3 drops abode. I call that so fresh and so clean. But lemon eucalyptus blends with so many oils, arborvitae, cedarwood, citronella. So you could make this whole like summertime blend if you want to and get it in your diffuser. I also found out today that lemon eucalyptus is powerful for athlete's foot. So when we remake our roller, this is going to go in there. It's also good for heat exhaustion. So if you know someone that doesn't do well with the heat as we're going into the summer, this is an oil they would use right over the top of their forehead, the back of the neck, shoulder blades, things like that. All right, we got to keep moving. If it feels like I'm rushing, it's because I am. Copaiba is the last, not the last one, but close to the last. I think we have 3 more. Copaiba is probably an oil you're pretty familiar with because we talk about this one a lot because there are so many people that have gotten amazing results with Copaiba, like kind of mind-blowing, like where you're like, even I'm a little surprised. It's just crazy how powerful this oil is. So it's anti-inflammatory, and that means it can help so many things because the root cause of so much that we deal with is inflammation. Now, inflammation, the inflammatory response in the body is normal, but long chronic inflammation that does not go away is the problem. And so we have to have a way to balance the natural inflammatory response in the body. That's what Copaiba does. It interacts with our cannabinoid system. I don't have time to teach you about all that. Go watch the video, search doTERRA, Copaiba versus CBD, and you'll learn why this is a way more powerful and safer response for chronic types of inflammation than even CBD type products. So digestive, anxiety, so brain related, digestive related, it actually helps produce collagen in the body. Hello. Amazing for the skin, like eczema, psoriasis. doTERRA came out with a Copaiba Touch. I don't think it's just because they wanted us to have it in a roller ball for fun. Like I think they know that Copaiba is really powerful for the skin and they want us to have easy access to using it on the skin regularly. And so for a while I had that Copaiba roller in my car, in my purse, just because I had it from convention and I was using it on just literally any kind of skin that would come up, like this itches today, and I would roll Copaiba on it. And I was surprised how many times things would go away that I was like, honestly, just using it because it was there and it would solve lots of skin issues. So get your Copaiba into a roller ball and start using it on your skin. And then specifically nervous system regulation. And what I mean by that is I've watched videos of people with tremors calm by using Copaiba topically and internally. I've also you've seen sensory needs children respond really, really well to Copaiba internally and topically. And Boyd from Symphony of Cells has Copaiba in the cellular protocol. So meaning like deep cellular healing, as well as the chi, remember, pain relief, and then the sensory protocol for sensory needs issues. So here's my 2 diffuser blends for Copaiba. If you haven't tried it for better sleep, I think you should. So put your Serenity in the diffuser, like 3 drops, but add 2 drops of Copaiba to the diffuser with it. So 3 and 2. Or Corey Lindley is now the new CEO of doTERRA, another founder. And so his favorite diffuser blend has Copaiba and tea tree in it. So I thought you had to hear it. Copaiba, 2 drops, tangerine, 4 drops, lime, 3 drops, and tea tree, 1 drop. That is such a random diffuser blend. It has to smell awesome, or I don't know why he would have come up with something like that. So 2 Copaiba, 4 tangerine, 3 lime, and 1 tea tree. I'm very, very curious to see what that smells like. Okay. Wild orange. Everyone loves wild orange, don't they? I mean, I don't think I have to convince you to use this oil, but I just want to remind you that because it's an inexpensive oil does not mean that it doesn't have profound results on your health. Okay. I used to associate the price of an oil with how powerful it was, and that's just not how it works. It just depends on how hard it is to source it, distill it, all of that. It doesn't take a whole lot of wild orange to make a 15 ml bottle, but it's really powerful for our moods. We have to be getting our wild orange out and using it for issues like depression and irritability and stress and anxiety and insomnia. All of us can check one of those things in the last 2 years. I promise you. I don't think I've met someone that hasn't dealt with depression, irritability, stress, or anxiety or insomnia in the last 2.5 years. So start diffusing it more, put it in your hands and deep inhale. A girl on our team has gotten off her depression meds just by smelling wild orange. It's the craziest, most amazing thing. But it's really great for the digestive system. So I know I've talked a lot about babies tonight, and that's just because that's the stage of life that I'm in. I have 3 of them. And so wild orange citrus oils are amazing for the digestive tract, specifically for children. But if you have digestive upset because of stress as an adult, then wild orange is your oil. So you should be using that for yourself as well. Here are my diffuser blends for wild orange. Oh, I've made a mess of myself here. Okay. The first one is called Be Brave, and it's actually diffusing Helichrysum. 2 drops of Helichrysum, 2 drops of peace, 2 drops of wild orange, and a drop of peppermint. Or you could try the fruit tart, which everyone will love. 2 drops of wild orange, 2 drops of grapefruit, 2 drops of lemon, and 2 drops of bergamot. So all of those citruses together. So yes, Helichrysum, peace, wild orange, peppermint. You got it. That's the Be Brave. And then the fruit tart is 2 of everything: wild orange, grapefruit, lemon, and bergamot. Okay. The last thing I'm going to say about wild orange is that I learned today, or reminded myself as I was looking through the Symphony of Cells, wild orange is actually in the cellular protocol. Is that not interesting? Like, we think of wild orange as this happy oil, and it is, but Boyd wants us to be using it for cellular health. So I had to go back and do some looking. Wild orange is an anti-cancer oil. So it's really important to do some more digging if this is part of your story or someone you know. But cellular repair, tissue repair, and cancer recovery, wild orange is listed. Is that not interesting? I bet a lot of you who've been around a while have not thought about that. So the cellular protocol lists possible conditions like Alzheimer's, autoimmune disease, Epstein-Barr, leukemia, lupus, Lyme disorder, lymphoma, malaria, multiple myeloma, MS, Parkinson's, shingles, spinal muscular atrophy, so many things. So anyway, I had a new love for wild orange after all of that. Okay, there's 2 more. Turmeric is a powerful anti-inflammatory. You probably hear about this a lot in health networks, but we get this amazing essential oil that's the blend of the powder and the oil. And so, like we talked about last week, super, super powerful. what did I say about that? It's a blend that comes from distilling both the dried and the fresh turmeric. So use this for cancer, again, anti-inflammatory, joint pain, arthritis, rheumatism, and then any kind of digestive detox that might be necessary. Maybe you're dealing with an unhealthy bacteria balance in your gut, your parasites, like turmeric would be the one I'd be using internally. And then also for pain and swelling. So here are 2 diffuser blends that I hope y'all are brave enough to try with me, because turmeric smells like dirt, but like in a good way, like the cleanest, most earthy dirt. Like if you've been to India, my friend Kelsey has been to India, and she's like, this just smells like India. This is just what it smells like in the Middle East, like in a good way. So now that I've talked you all out of ever smelling turmeric, here are the diffuser blends. This is called Holiday Dinner, and I actually think it sounds delightful. 1 drop of cinnamon, 2 drops of turmeric, and 2 drops of cardamom. So that uses 2 oils from our top 10. And then the other one is 1 drop of ginger, 2 drops of turmeric, and 3 drops of grapefruit. I think that's going to smell awesome. I think they're both going to smell awesome. But anyway, the turmeric is in the symphony of self for the cardiovascular system. It's really powerful for the heart. It's also in the C2 protocol, which deals with a lot of apathies, a lot of disorders, ranging from lots of toxicity type issues. So it's also in the digestive protocol, in the Maxim protocol, in the neurological protocol, and in the sensory protocol. It's all throughout Symphony of the Cells. So it interacts with so many different body systems. Michelle didn't know she was going to go to work tonight. I love you so much. So thanks for doing that. Anything else on turmeric? Turmeric? I don't think so. Here's the last oil. This is my favorite. I told you this last week. I wish it was the same price as wild orange, because then I would have it in every room and every pocket of every human that walked the face of this earth, because it is the most amazing oil. I've used it more times than I can count on my children, because my son has really sensitive skin. And so if I put almost anything on his skin, it freaks out. It gets red and bumpy sometimes. I don't know why, but he's just a sensitive child in all areas. So maybe that's just him. But Helichrysum doesn't do that. So I can put Helichrysum diluted in that roller ball on his skin every place. Doesn't matter if the wound is bloody and open and like, it doesn't sting. It doesn't hurt. It's the most incredible oil ever. So this is the true first aid oil. I know some of you like lavender and tea tree and frank and blah, 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 blah. It means nothing to me. Helichrysum is everything because it does not sting. And so I can put it on anything. So my son just cut his chin open the other day on the skateboard, Helichrysum. I can tell you how much we use this oil because my 2-year-old in the car seat 3 days ago said, I need Helichrys. I need Helichrys. That's what she calls it. Helichrys. My 2-year-old almost can say Helichrysum. That's how often that oil is being asked for and used in my house. So it's just for everything of the skin, wounds and scars and bleeding and bruises. It can get rid of bruises. I just had a customer message me a couple of weeks ago. Her daughter is pregnant and dealing with the most severe varicose veins, like enlarged blood capillaries. It just looks so painful on her legs. And I was like, I know it's expensive, but please buy Helichrysum. And so they did. She's like, oh, she'd pay anything right now to have relief. And they started using it topically. And her pain has already gone down more than anything the doctors have recommended for her. And you know what? It's 100% safe in pregnancy. Of course it is. So Helichrysum is really, really powerful for the skin. I love that Michelle mentioned sunburns because that's what we use after sunburns. We like the peppermint and the lavender. It's important, but I always add Helichrysum for recovery. And then tinnitus or ringing in the ears, Helichrysum is the #1 oil for that. Or bloody noses, any kind of bleeding. It's a coagulant. So we call it liquid stitches. And it can stop bleeding instantly. So if my husband walks in and he smells Helichrysum, he's like, uh-oh, who cut themselves? Like, what happened? What emergency took place that the Helichrys came out? So that's Helichrysum. Do you want to diffuse it? I've actually never diffused diffused it. I didn't even think about diffusing it until I started reading my diffuser book today. So here's 2 of them with Helichrysum and diffuser blends, and I'm going to try them because number one, the first one is 3 essential oils that are co-impact source. So 2 of them are on our top 10, but pink pepper is also a co-impact sourcing oil. It comes out of Kenya. It has the most amazing story. Please go search pink pepper doTERRA and you'll learn all about that story. If you've been in our oil camp, you would have already heard about this pink pepper story, but this is the diffuser blend. 3 drops of Helichrysum, 3 drops of cardamom, and 2 drops of pink pepper. I'm intrigued. I'll be trying that one. And then the other one is 2 drops of Helichrysum, 3 drops of green mandarin, and 1 drop of ginger. Green mandarin comes out of Africa too. Remember I told you last week that green mandarin is actually the unripened red mandarin that typically gets thrown, and doTERRA has helped these African farmers like resource that back up, stuff that's going to literally be thrown away, and make an income now from it because they can distill it for green mandarin essential oil. So anyway, I just think those 2 blends will make you feel like you're really rocking out the goodness of your heart and the good that you can do for the world. 2 drops of Helichrysum, 3 drops of green mandarin, and 1 drop of ginger. Helichrysum is in the Chi protocol. Remember, pain and inflammation. It's in the inflammatory protocol as well as the osteo, so bone pain and things like that protocol. How often are you asking about? Oh, ringing in the ears. Yes. So typically ear ringing can be a result. Well, it can be a result of spinal damage. I know that's probably not necessary in your case, Gail. I'm not sure, but it can also be from high levels of toxicity. And so detox would be really important, but you want to facilitate the healing. It's a very restorative oil, so it can help facilitate the healing in the body. So yeah, just around your ear, I'd get it. I'd buy the Helichrysum Touch and I would roll it behind your ears. Yeah, Hattie said every 3 to 4 hours. If it's easy like that and diluted, you can just put it in your purse and apply it often. Yes. Okay. That was fun. I told you last week that, I don't know if you remember. Oh, you already have it. So now you can just start using it. Way to go. I told you last week that I gave you all the oils last week. We talked about them all. And then I said, if anybody goes and uses these oils over the next 7 days and can come back here and tell me about it, I would have a gift for you. And I do have a gift, or at least some ideas about gifts. So I would love to know, is anybody, I'm going to stop my share and stop my recording.